don't know why, I just want to giggle with you. Welcome back to another episode from the Safe to Feel podcast. I'm Leah, and today I have a very special guest with me, Miss Erica Savard.
What up, what up?
I'm so excited for you to be here. Thank you for joining.
Thanks for having me.
You're like a natural. Okay. Where do we start?
We should start with us.
Okay.
We met many years ago.
We met on the earth.
Dancing, actually.
We did?
We met
at
dance
ballet.
class. So yeah, I've known Leah for longer than I've known myself. And
we locked eyes.
And it was from then on. No, she's been in my life and seen me through all sorts of phases and different times, and I've seen her through different phases of her life. So I'm excited to come and chit chat today.
You've been in the health and fitness industry. It's been one of your passions for pretty much as long as I can remember. Like, I think starting in high school, was it?
Yeah, it really started in high school. Like when I was freshman, because everyone was signing up for volleyball and basketball and team sports, and I'm not a team sport girl. Like,
I feel that.
I don't like that, and so I was like, I need to find something. And apart from just hiking and exploring our backyard out here, I was like, I need to find something that keeps me fit and active and is similar to a sport. And so I started working out and weightlifting, and that's kind of where it started.
Yeah, so it's been quite a journey.
Get outside.
Coda's here.
Get outside. Get out.
Say hi.
Say hi to the podcast. Thank you, boy.
So, obviously, you've been through many different phases and journeys within your journey. Mm-hmm. I'm really curious to know how you balance your discipline with compassion for yourself and what that looks like for you.
Yeah, so where I'm at right now, I started bodybuilding competitively just about a year ago. And that's been a crazy journey of rebalancing the discipline with, giving myself grace, and especially through a prep, getting ready for a competition, and then the time after that your body's changing and you're gaining body fat back, that phase you have to give yourself grace, but also that discipline is so important through all those phases. To me, I think the balance of that is that I love what I do, and I think that that's what makes it an easy balance for me. Just as, important as it is to stick to my routine and go to the gym every day and push myself, it's also just as important to be like, oh, I wasn't able to do this today, or I felt a little tired today, or I need an extra rest day. And so I think being able to give yourself that grace is what allows that discipline to stay intact for so long. Because you're human, not every day is going to be perfect. So just giving yourself kind of the freedom to have your ups and downs within staying disciplined is important. So
have the things you've learned in bodybuilding spilt over into other areas of your life? And I'm curious to know what it's shown you and taught you in places outside of just competing.
Yeah, 1000%. And I think not even just bodybuilding, but just going to the gym for so many years now and building that foundation and then moving into the sport. There's so many spillways into other realms of life. I think that the way that I carry myself through my day-to-day, and especially in the workplace, I'm 22, I'm young, in the line of work that I do, and all my coworkers are to a decade plus more than I am. And so I think just having that confidence in myself that I did the work and I showed up every day and I put the hours in, and not just in the gym, but at work, to get myself to where I'm at, that gives me the confidence of I deserve to be here. And of course there's some imposter syndrome with work stuff or whatever you're pursuing in life. But I think being in bodybuilding, I have those same insecurities at times, but then I remind myself it's just work. So there's some crossover there. And then also a lot of spillway into just the day-to-day movements, waking up every morning. There's certain habits that I've developed, I'm going to drink my water and I'm going to take my vitamins and I'm going to, get some sunlight in my eyes within the first couple hours of the day, and doing things like that, or walking to work rather than driving to work. Partly because, I need to get steps in, but also just to get some extra movement. So the habits that it's given me and those things, I would say it spilled over in that aspect. And my mom actually brought it up to me the other day because I ate dinner and then I just like lay down and digest for a little bit, and I really just like enjoy that time of digestion. And she's like, it's so interesting because I've never really thought of like, oh, I need to digest after I'm doing this. Like, of course I'm digesting, but taking the time to kind of slow down. And that's something that bodybuilding's kind of gifted me with, is a little bit more appreciation for like what our bodies do and how our bodies use food and water and sleep and different vitamins and supplements. So I think there's a lot of spillways. Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
What are some practices or things that you do to reconnect to yourself when you do feel maybe insecure, out of alignment, or, you know, just throughout your journey, if there's been moments where you've kind of like not, I don't know, felt like super aligned, or you, what do you do to like bring yourself back to that space?
Yeah, I think it depends kind of on what I feel like I need to reconnect with specifically. But there's a few things that I try to practice doing every day. And like one of those is walking my dog and like getting outside and taking him on walks. And I enjoy that time so much, and just being present in nature and looking at the creek and looking at Mount Sopris and looking at my dog running around. And so just like being present with who I am in my life, and just like reconnecting that I'm a human, I have a dog, and that's that. And sometimes you get so caught up in the day-to-day you forget that. And so that's been a practice and like a routine that I've definitely focused on. But also just like when I do feel like I need to reconnect with myself after, you know, getting caught up with either work or bodybuilding stuff or training or whatever it might be, or an injury, especially during an injury time where you have no choice but to rest and recover, is like art and reading and like learning. I love learning, and I think that's a big part of who I am as a person. Like I love science, like I said, but just like diving into a topic, whether it's freaking moths or psilocybin or like whatever it might be, and just learning and growing my my little head and pushing myself to kind of, you know, just be curious. I think staying curious is part of who I am as well. So anytime that I need to reconnect, I always try to listen to a podcast or read a new book or watch a video on something. New. Yeah, learning. Yeah. Just kind of expanding who I am helps me feel like who I am.
That's awesome. I'm going to change the vibe really quick.
Yeah, let's switch it up.
I am curious to know, do you think that dreams choose us, or do we choose them?
Now I've got a clarifying question. Are you talking about dreams as in aspirations, or dreams when we sleep?
Aspirations.
Oh, okay.
Like you're like, I've always dreamed to do this thing. Do you think that you're choosing it, or do you think it's...
You know, I think I think it's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Because there are certain things that we are all here, I think, meant like we're all trying to do for ourselves. And so some of those dreams, I think, are applicable to they chose us. And like it was almost like predetermined. Yeah. And, you know, there's certain things that like in my life I know I need to complete because I've wanted to complete those things since I was a kid. And like those things, those choose us. Yeah. But then there's those smaller like random things that we're like, oh, that'd be so fun. Yeah. I need to try this, or I need to do this. And I think that we choose them. But I think some people have an imbalance. I think some people get, you know, only dreams that chose them, and then other people really have to seek out like what they want to do in life. And I think that a lot of the times the people that are not necessarily chosen with life to-dos or life aspirations,
or maybe they're disconnected from knowing what
I think that those
are.
I always feel like those kinds of people, they're great people, but I think that a lot of the times that lifetime for them is just serving the purpose of figuring it out. Like not doing anything. You're just figuring out.
Or doing all the things.
Yeah, doing it all, you know?
Trying to see what the things, the dreams are.
Exactly. So I think it's person to person.
How do you personally keep faith in some of your dreams when Like, okay, for example, let's say you have a dream that you've had for, since you're a kid.
Mm-hmm.
You know that it's there, but the path is pretty unclear at times.
Yeah.
Or do you feel like the path has always been clear on
no.
how to get there?
No.
So
I never know what path I'm
How
on.
do you kind of like navigate your dream or keep faith in your dream when you can't really see what direction to go?
I think similar to like what I said, when I don't know who I am or feeling like I need to reconnect, is I try to expand myself. And I think it goes over into this answer as well, as like, there's a ton of times that I don't necessarily feel like the path I'm on is clear, or I know what the next step is. And what I do at that time is rewind and like look backwards and look inwards and like, why was I even interested in this in the first place? And like find that original emotion, those original feelings that made you have that dream, or, what made you discover you had that dream, and reconnect with those emotions, whether those are physical things you got to go do or emotions you have to have. But I think going backwards and like looking back into why it even started in the first place. Don't be scared. Don't be scared, because no one else knows what you're doing except for you. Like, it's one of those things that, it's your dream, but no one knows exactly what your dream is other than you. So don't be afraid to like start it, because even if it's just opening that door, someone's going to be like, oh, cool, they opened that door. And that might just be the first step for you. So I think a lot of the times we get in our own ways because we feel like other people are looking at our dreams and other people are judging our dreams, but it doesn't matter, because they don't even know what you're doing. They don't even know what your goals are. And for example, like, I'll just talk about, my goals and dreams within bodybuilding. Like, at first I just wanted to step on stage and like do one competition and see if I liked it. But since then, like, I have goals, I have dreams, and pretty much no one other than my coach knows what those things are. Because that's all that matters. Like, it doesn't matter. And I'll have a ton of little blips along the way that people will be like, oh, that's cool, you did this, or oh, this is cool. But no one knows what the end goal is. And so don't be scared, because it's just you and your own journey. And so I think if you're getting scared and intimidated to start because of the external stuff, that's a good answer. But if it's because of internal stuff, I think you really just gotta, like what I said to the answer prior, is you gotta reconnect with why you even want to do it. And that drive should be so strong that you won't be scared. Like, just reconnect with what your why is and you're good.
I totally agree. It's your dream. Like, if you're scared about like external things, like, no one has a say or influence on your dream. Like, it's between you and you always. And so like, if you have a dream and you want to go do it, you can go do it. And if you don't have that drive, is the dream yours?
It's not yours.
Right?
No, that's the thing. Like, if it's internal, if it's an internal hiccup or like an internal roadblock that you're coming up with, and you're still reconnecting with what that why is, it's pretty likely that why involves someone else in your life. Maybe you're doing it for someone else. Maybe your goal is there for your family, or goal is there for your significant other, or goal is there for your boss, or whatever. But it's not your dream. It's not your goal. It's theirs, or how you want to show up for them, which can be something you work on. But just, that might be some of the fears, because it's not your drive. It's not your goal.
What advice would you give to someone who does struggle with that? Like, they have a lot of external pressure to complete certain dreams and goals that are not their own. And maybe they have to pour in a bunch of time for, let's say, family or something to fulfill those dreams and goals. And they don't really have time to actually pursue their own dreams and goals maybe they've had since a kid. And
I won't name names, but there's someone in my life who I am thinking about who's like that. And they give so much of their life to the people around them. And so many of their goals are actually just goals for the people around them, and to support the people around them. And I think that you kind of have to reframe a little bit of your own goals if that's how your life is going for so many years. And some of your goals might be able to be recentered around helping other people or accomplishing these other things for other people. So I don't think that it's wrong to live out those goals if they involve others, as long as it brings you some sense of like success and well-being and happiness and fulfillment. I don't think that any dream is like not right, even if it's not yours, if that makes sense. So being able to kind of reframe that, but then also within that, I'm always going to push people to, you know, get back into themselves and reconnect. And so if, you know, if you're not finding the time or anything, I think either finding the small things and just picking up the little nuggets along the journey that does power into that goal and does fuel into that dream of yours, or really just putting up a stop sign and being like, I'm shutting it down for a minute. I need to focus on boundaries. Me. Yeah, setting some boundaries and just being like, you know, I love doing this for all these other people, but I need to slow down and I need to do this for me, because otherwise I'm not going to be here to celebrate and like work for other people. Right. So I think just taking that time and like making those boundaries is important. But I don't think that there's anything wrong with also some of your goals being within the benefit of other people, as long as you're feeling fulfilled. If it is something that it's like your family is so happy you're doing it, or your friends are so happy you're doing it, but you're not happy you're doing it, if they're truly your family and friends and someone that loves you, if you have a real conversation with them as far as like, listen, this is not serving a purpose to me. Yeah. And like, I know that you enjoy me doing this, but I don't enjoy me doing this. If it's someone who genuinely loves you and cares about you, they should have no issue with you finding what actually lights that fire for you, you know?
Yeah, I agree. That's a good point. What are your thoughts about manifestation?
Ooh, like in general? Mm-hmm. I love it. I have been a little manifester since as long as I can remember.
When I was a little baby.
Yeah, no, I think so let's rewind here. So when I was a kid, I was around about 9 years old, and my mom was going through a really crazy emotional time, and she just went through a divorce, and she was kind of just needing to get her head back on her shoulders and kind of recreate her life. She got really rocked from that situation, and I think she just needed to find herself again. And part of her journey became kind of the start of my journey, which is really cool because she's my mom. And it's something that even to this day, many, 12 years later, we can kind of reflect on and like look back to, is like the start of kind of where our bond came from. But when she was going through this, something that she started doing is a lot of, she had a life coach and was learning a lot about how thoughts become things. And what you think about is your reality. And so she would have little magnets on the fridge, and I would see those every day. And she would...
not necessarily what you think, because we have like
a
ton of thoughts. Like going in and out all the time. But if you believe the thought, if you think that thought if you is think real, then it...
Yes.
Because I could have like a crazy thought. No, not just what the hell? I don't believe that.
Yeah. Not just any thought,
but believing. But what you believe.
Yeah. And what you feeds you, And so my mom was really learning that lesson. And like I said, like there were magnets on my fridge that said thoughts become things, and you are what you think, and those kinds of things. And I think
9-year-old you was like, whoa.
I know. No, literally it started my awakening of like, oh shit. Like
I could be a pony?
This is serious. And what was cool is I literally saw my mom go through her transformation of not having any belief in herself to realizing the reason she doesn't believe in herself is because she's not telling herself anything positive. And I saw her thoughts start to become positive, and then her life start to become positive. And now she's one of the most... Yeah. She's so radiant and like so giving and so grateful, and her thoughts literally are her life now. And it's so cool. So watching that from a young age, I realized, damn, like what we think about is powerful. Yeah. And like what we feed into is our reality. Like if you truly believe something about yourself, like it becomes who you are. And I think that that's kind of where my feelings and like beginnings of manifestation and like getting into that world began, was really just around viewing myself which was a really cool place to start. And I think that it's been a really healthy and awesome, life that I've had for myself so far, because I have these views of myself and I know how to talk to myself, and I know how to believe in myself.
Yes.
And so I think that was a great foundation that I was given. And then, since then, I think manifestation has manifested itself in other forms in my life. But I've, not only just who you are and what you think about, but also like if you want something, you just replay that shit in your head.
Like, are you visualize?
Yeah, visualizing. And, like if you want money, you got to think about having that stack in your hand,
I will say on that point, I think I've literally become such a great money manifester. And I feel like the more you believe, like it will show up in your life, and the more it shows up, the more you believe it, until it becomes such a strong belief that you're like, this is like really such a reality.
Yeah.
Which I wanted to say, a side note, that is the exact reason why I believe that what people believe is true. Like any person's belief, even if it's not my own belief, I'm like, I believe it. It's true for you.
It's true for you.
Like, I think all the truths are true.
Yeah. No, I agree with that.
Because I'm like, it's what literally your reality. So therefore it's real and it exists. And I see that.
For you.
I may not resonate with it, but I believe that it's true.
Yeah.
Which is why I like can, for example, like believe in all types of religions. Because like for them, if you're in it and you've experienced, certain spiritual things, that's true. That's truth and that's reality.
Yeah.
So it's like, I believe whatever you believe is for you.
Yeah. No, 100%. I think it's interesting, but it's a good reminder, folks. Your thoughts become things.
About the visualizing thing, I think the first time that I manifested something that I was aware of, because I feel like we're manifesting things all the time, whether we're aware of it or not, but the first time I was aware of it, I was just like, it was my car, my Jeep.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Literally, I knew I wasn't gonna get it. It was like, my mom was like, no, and I was like, I was okay with that, and I was like, okay, like we can totally get a different car, like it's no problem. But I just remember like daydreaming about what it would be like to drive that car and how I would feel driving that car. And one day my mom just came into the room and she's like, let's go, we're getting the car. And I was like, I thought it was too expensive. And she's like, no, we need to do it. And I was like, and then like I was driving the car in the way that I had daydreamed about. And I wasn't even trying to manifest it.
You were just thinking about it.
Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
This is actually really interesting.
No, visualization is such a powerful tool. And it really, in the health and wellness area and in the sports, I was reading a book, called Relentless, and it's by Tim Grover, and he's in the basketball world. So he talks a lot about, like some of the basketball players who he's worked with, which are some of the best. And he's, there's one part that he's talking about visualization and how a lot of those, the best of the best players visualize their games and visualize their shots and visualize what they're going to do and when they're going to do it and how it's going to feel. And they do it because they've already lived it. And so when I was reading that, I was getting ready for my competition. And so I began every day, like right when I woke up in the morning, when my mind is nice and fresh, I would just lay in bed for a couple extra minutes with my eyes open or closed or whatever felt good. And I would really just play out like what it would feel like walking out on stage, what it would feel like posing, how I want to feel inside. Do I want to be nervous or do I want to be present? Because I think you can control that too if you prepare yourself. And I wanted to be present, of course, and I was. And being able to experience show day and being, successful and competing and meeting amazing people and helping the people around me, but also being present and happy and having those feelings, I guarantee you some of that became a reality because I visualized it.
And something you mentioned, which is a key point too, I feel like it really just adds so much more when you're visualizing, is connecting to the feeling.
Yes.
Connecting to the feeling that you want to exist.
Yeah, and it's so much also of like, even just the small things like, oh, when I go to work, like, let's say someone's dreading going to work. And if they're thinking about, oh, I dread going to work, and I'm going to go to work, and then my boss is going to tell me this, and then my coworker is going to bug me about this.
It's going to happen.
Then it's going to happen. It's going to be annoying. But if you're like, I'm going to go to work, and my boss is going to talk to me, and then I'm going to do what they said, and it's going to be cool, and it's going to be productive, and this and the other, like, then you go in, and it's you flip the script. And so I think visualizing that and feeling those feelings before you go into a situation is so, so valuable. And, like, even with interactions with people. Like, if you're about to see someone you're a little nervous to see, whether it's a good nervous or bad nervous,
play out the
conversation, play out how you want to be, how you want to feel,
how you want to show up.
Exactly. Yeah. And it kind of is a grounding practice along with that visualization. And it's so cool because it's like you feel like you've already been there, done that, because you've already run through in your head. It's like a little practice.
My mom does that a lot.
Yeah.
Like, and she'll always remind me that too. She's like, play out the thing before, like visualize it before. Or sometimes I'll remind her when she's like, I want something. I'm like, well, you got it, girl.
Yeah.
Just remember to visualize and keep aligning until you're in that same moment.
Yeah. And I think I do want to say the difference though between replaying a situation a million times in your head out of anxiety
is different.
Not what we're talking about
because
here.
Also think about it. If you're replaying the situation from a place of anxiety, what's the feeling you're connecting to? Anxiety. And that's not going to go well.
No.
I'm gonna make a podcast episode about anxiety and some things I've been doing to chill out and flip the script. Like you say, like, the thought is, like, really important. Like, I feel like in any moment you can change your whole vibe off of a thought.
Yep.
Something I wanted to mention too that I remember, like, long ago, back in the days, that you told me about manifestation was about the part of it of detaching and letting it go.
Yep.
Because there's, also when you're trying to manifest something, obsessing over it and thinking about it constantly every day.
That becomes that anxiety piece. Yeah. So if it's like, if you're replaying it out of a positive mindset and being like reinstilling those good vibes and that good energy, if it's in a good positive space, replay it. But as soon as it becomes too much and you start to get anxiety about it or a little nervous about it and it becomes anything close to a negative piece, before it even gets there, you got to cut it off and be like, I said my piece. I know what I want. The universe knows what I want. It's coming. And you just send it up there.
And it will come when the time is right.
That's the other
thing. That's a huge thing.
Yeah, that's huge. And that's the other thing too. It's like, you kind of have to be okay with flexible timing on a lot of these things. Like, it'll come.
Yeah.
But we don't know exactly when.
There's something though also that, like, because I do feel like I am quite spiritual in that area, but then I'm also, like, really into psychology and have been studying psychology. And so there's the other aspect of manifestation. And there's a lot of talk about manifestation and, your subconscious and your, what we call the inner coding. And so a lot of people, I don't know, actually, I'm not going to say a lot of people, but here's, I guess, the take though. I've seen a lot of talk about, you can manifest anything you want. You can have whatever you want, like you're the creator. And that's true to some extent. But the piece that I think is really interesting is that inner coding and the subconscious and those, I guess, they're more subconscious beliefs.
Yeah.
And so it's like in your present wisest self, like the here and now, you're like, okay, let's say, I don't know, I guess this is basic. Yeah. Maybe people will relate to this, but, like, let's say you're like, I want this type of husband, or I want a husband, or I want a wife, or I want a relationship. Let's just say that. I want a relationship. I want to manifest this relationship. But if your inner coding says, I'm not worthy of a relationship, I don't deserve a relationship, it's not going to manifest.
Exactly.
Because your inner coding has to be aligned.
Yeah.
And I think that's really interesting because, and that's where, like, I feel like self-reflection and, like, really getting to know yourself has to play in.
Yeah.
Because you could have all these subconscious thoughts or inner beliefs without realizing it that are the ones that are like, well, that's what's stopping you from believing it.
Yeah.
Like truly believing it, not pretending to believe it, not pretending you believe you deserve it.
Yeah.
But like truly like
believing it.
So I feel like it's interesting, like at the same time, manifestation takes work.
Yeah.
And we know, like, you have to put in action. You can't just be like, I want $1 million and then sit on your couch.
I wish.
I mean, well,
sometimes.
Technically, I'm not going to put any limits here because you could technically manifest a situation of, you know, you getting $1 million from sitting on the couch, I will say. But in most cases, it takes, you know, that spiritual aspect, but also the action and the physical reality to make it happen.
Yeah.
And same with like, knowing if there's any inner blocks.
Oh, totally.
You know?
Well, and this is almost like what we were talking about with the dreams. Is it your dream or is it someone else? But like, is it the inner you dream or is it the outer you dream?
Or is it even, that reminds me of like beliefs too. Like recently I've been like, is this my belief? Or is this a belief that I've taken on from someone else?
Oh, yeah. Did you
along
learn
the way?
Yeah.
Recognizing what you truly believe versus the beliefs that you've adopted over time.
Yeah.
And like...
That's so true. That's crazy.
That's super interesting. But yeah, I think it really comes down to like we said, bringing it back to the thoughts and reality. It's the belief. It's the belief aspect.
Yeah.
Like... Not pretending to believe, but truly believing
like inside.
it.
Yeah. No, I think that it's so true. And I think that's also part of why my foundation with this is so good, is because it started off with the inner stuff.
Yes.
And like, you know, the thoughts become things. Like, yes, it's what you're thinking, but it's more of like what you're thinking subconsciously becomes reality. And that's where I was able to lay my foundation and my groundwork for this. And I think that that's why I almost feel like I set myself up for success in that aspect, because I started in the inside and worked my way out. I'm kind of going through this in one aspect of my life right now where for a long time, my inner and my outer did not agree on what one of my goals was. And now I have that thing. And it's great and I love it. But there was that inner outer conflict when I got it. And I was like, wait, do I really want this? Do I really like this? Is this what I want? And it takes time. Like, even when you get it, you're still working on it. And, you know, it's cool because now that I've been doing that, you know, internal reflection, and I really realized, like, no, my internal and my outternal do want this. And I'm happy. My outternal, my internal and outternal. Outternal. Yeah, what the heck? It's outternal. My inside and my outside both want that thing and agree on it. And it's cool because they've never agreed until we had this thing. And now we're like, do we actually like it? And my inside's like, yeah, you know what? We do.
Yeah.
So I think that it's okay to have that conflict between the outside and inside. It doesn't always have to be aligned because it might align later down the road.
Exactly.
But it is something that takes work. Like, I mean, every single day I'm still checking in with my inside being like, you sure you changed your mind on this? Like, we feel good with this.
Yeah.
And my outward self is into it, and my inward self is into it now. So.
And I think sometimes too, we'll manifest things and then realize that's not actually, like, sometimes the manifestation will come in just to show you that actually that's not what I wanted. Yeah. And this actually isn't for me.
Yeah. You go in the other way too, where you are pretty made up your mind about something you don't want in your life. You know, that's a side of manifesting too, is avoiding things and not wanting to be around things. And I think you can manifest yourself into one of those situations. And then you get into that situation, you're like, wait a minute. Like, let me get that thing actually.
Yeah.
And so I think it comes in both ways, but I think it's a ever changing and constantly moving thing of like the outside and the inside and what you're working on, what you're focusing on. And I think it's totally fine to get something or manifest something and work on something and then get it and be like, never mind. Or, that wasn't enough. Or this doesn't interest me anymore.
At this point, I thought this was aligned and important to me, but then I realized actually it's it's not.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
And this is just like this dream conversation we were having before this. Like, if you have a dream or aspiration, then you're like, I want this. And then you get there, or even just start walking down that path and you're like, hold up, this is not my path. Quit. It's all right. You don't need to be there. Like, if that's not your thing.
Yeah. I think about that a lot too. Like, I always like say, like, it's okay at any time to change what you're doing.
Oh, yeah. And it doesn't even just have to be that external stuff.
True.
But the internal. Like, you can totally change so much about yourself if you want to. Like,
oh my God.
And I mean, hopefully do it for the better, you know, but like, because it can happen for the worse as well. Like, if you let it happen,
in your villain era.
You get in your winter arc villain era. But no, I think that it's so cool because, like, yeah, you can believe something for so long about yourself. But then if you're done believing that, switch it up, girl. Like, get out of there. You're done.
Get it
Move
out.
on.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, it's cool.
You don't have to hold on.
Nothing's permanent.
To the beliefs you've had forever.
Yeah.
You're allowed to be like, actually,
never mind.
No.
Yeah.
What do you think is something for you that you used to think was, like, really important to you and then, like, changed?
Ooh. There's so many things, I think. Something that I thought was really important to me and really something that I had to do for my whole life was be sober. I remember that. Yeah, I was fully sober for 2.5 years. And it was something like I dedicated so much time to, and like, I didn't have an issue with it, but a lot of the people that I loved and surrounded myself with did and related with
addiction.
Struggled with alcoholism and addiction. And so I think I felt like I had to be sober because I could be, because so many people can't be, because it's an addiction and like, you know, it's a disease at the end of the day. And like, some people just don't get that choice. So I was like, well, since I have a choice, I'm choosing to be sober. And that fueled me for 2.5 years. And at the end of those 2.5 years, it wasn't necessarily that like I was, you know, like, let me go party hard. I wasn't like that. I was more realizing like, this is not serving a purpose for me. Like, this isn't doing anything for me. Like, I was feeling like I was doing it because of other people that couldn't do it, which was, it felt good at the time, you know, because like, you know, there's a lot of people who don't get the liberty of that choice. And so I was like, well, I'm going to use my choice to choose not to do it. And so that was a belief that I had for a long time that since then I've moved out of, and I'm not sober, but I'm also not a partier. And part of that is my health and wellness lifestyle. And it's not something I align with. And, you know, occasionally I'll go out and have some drinks and party at Mountain Fair. And, you know, I let loose and have fun, but it's, you know, it's not a weekly activity. But it's not so black and white. So I think the belief that changed was really me thinking it had to be black or white, and me needing to be sober because I could be versus I don't need to. And then just learning how to support those people around me in other ways. Because at the end of the day, was me being sober doing anything for them? No.
But did you think in the time that
I felt like it was?
Yeah.
I felt like I was like, I'm going to do this because they can't. It's like...
And you could maybe like... Do you think it helped you, or maybe you thought it would help you understand them more?
Yeah, for sure.
In their journey of sobriety?
For sure. And I think, you know, I was in a relationship with someone who was also sober at the time. And I think it benefited that relationship that I was also sober. So there were some benefits, but was it benefiting them through their addiction and through their recovery? No, not necessarily.
Yeah.
You know, so I think I just needed to kind of zoom out and realize like, what I was doing wasn't necessarily for me. It's almost like the dream and aspiration thing. Like, is that my goal? No, it's someone else's. Yeah. But I was living it out for them because I could, and I had that ability to. So yeah, that's something that's definitely flipped.
Reflecting back on your life so far, what is like one major turning point that has really reshaped how you live?
Oh, like live my day-to-day life?
Yeah. Like something that just kind of shifted your reality and changed your perspective on your day-to-day.
Let me think about that.
Okay, yeah.
I feel like there's so many things. I mean, I feel like every day there's something like, oh, I need to switch this up tomorrow.
Right.
You know, but one major or a few major?
Whatever you want.
I think one of those things was, you know, when I started working out and I got my job at the rec center and I started working out at the rec center, is my day-to-day life totally switched, because I was up early in the morning. I would work out, I would work at my job, and then I would go to school and study, and then go home and then go back to a different job. And that was like my workhorse era. Like, I was just busy working, and that totally changed my day-to-day, because I felt like I'm on a grind. Like, and that was as soon as I was 14 or 15 years old. Like, as soon as I could work, I wanted to, and I was like, let me go. And so I was in that for so long, and I was just literally just repeating the day over and over again. And it was wake up early, go work out, go to work, go to school, go back home, and then go to my other job. And that's all it was for so long. So the day-to-day was, I don't even remember much of my life through that phase, because it was so...
Do you feel like during that phase, like, that was bringing you some comfort and stability to have, like, you know what's happening, you're doing the same thing every day?
Yeah.
Do you feel like that brought some comfort, or do you think it was kind of...
I think rather than bringing me comfort, I think it gave me purpose. Like, I think a lot of who I was at that phase of my life, like, I didn't really know who I was yet. And I didn't really know what I wanted to do, or what, you know, what lit my fire. And like, looking back, I feel like I was such a lost version of myself.
I can relate.
And so, you know, I think that it wasn't necessarily comfort. Obviously, a routine was great, and I do thrive in chaos, so I liked the nonstop go stuff. But I do think it was just giving me a purpose. And then I think I found my purpose through that time, and through those, you know, that year that I was really nose to the grindstone, or a couple of years. So that was definitely a pivot point. And then...
Wait, I have a question.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you have a better sense of, quote unquote, what your purpose is now? Or do you feel like it's more than one thing? Like, what's your thoughts on it now?
Oh, yeah. No, I think it's ever changing.
Yeah.
I think what a purpose, like having a purpose to me is like having some goals and aspirations of that section of time of my life. It's not really like the purpose of my whole life.
It's like the reason to be here now.
Exactly. Like, the reason for what I'm doing today is the purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And like, it's just the reasoning behind your actions of that specific day. And like, your purpose today might be different from tomorrow. And I think for me in that phase, I was really just trying to find things that I enjoyed. And that was my purpose. Like, I was just trying to find, like, what makes me happy? Like, what motivates me? What do I like doing? And so I was working because I loved that. And I was working out because I loved that. And I was going to school and learning because I loved that, and because I had to, because it's high school. But, you know, like, doing those things gave me that purpose and fulfillment of just feeling like I enjoyed what I was doing. That was my purpose.
Yeah.
So that was definitely a big turning point. The next chronological turning point would probably be around like the sobriety aspect of things, and going through a relationship with someone who was sober. And I learned so much through that relationship of you know, what addiction and alcoholism is, and the reality of it, and the dark side of it and the light side of it, and what recovery looks like, and how you're never recovered from it. You're constantly recovering.
Everyday choice.
It's an everyday choice.
Yeah.
And I think that can, you know, relate to different areas of different people's lives. So I've definitely used that, even like with bodybuilding. I'm like, it's an everyday choice to do these things and to stick to these goals.
Yeah.
And just like, you know, someone in recovery from addiction has certain things that they need to do to maintain their recovery. Like, I have certain things I need to do to maintain my goals in bodybuilding. But I would say one of those turning points was that person who I was in that relationship with for a long time. After we had broken up, he passed away. And that definitely just shifted my day to day, because, I mean, first of all, like who he was to me, not just as a boyfriend, but as like a friend and a partner who really helped me with my spiritual process and my spiritual growth, but also like my mental health journey and my mental health process, and was such a like rock in my life.
Yeah, he was. At that point in your life, he was really there.
No, he was.
Well,
and
you were
like,
both there for each other.
No, totally. But he really served a really meaningful piece in my life. And so to go through that journey and that relationship with him and that friendship that we had first, like, was beautiful and amazing. And then when that, you know, wrapped up and we broke up and moved forward with our own lives and stuff, you know, that wasn't necessarily the turning point. I was still in that residual energy with him. But then once he passed away, that's when my shift, that's when I felt like that next shift, was just because I started to be thankful and grateful for different things. And I started to remember things that he would do and things that like he taught me to do, and like how to be mindful. And I make my bed every morning because of him. Like he was that kind of guy who was like, you wake up in the morning, you make your bed, because that's like a good thing. And that was important for his recovery. Yeah. And that was like just a small little thing that he started doing, but I still do it every single day because he taught me that. And so I think that was another huge turning point of like where some of my small day-to-day habits came to be. Was with him. Yeah.
I will ask if there is a life lesson that you've learned recently that really surprised you.
Ooh.
Like you didn't really expect it?
Like didn't expect to learn it?
Yeah.
Or like need to learn it? Or
anything, however you interpret
surprise.
It. Just the surprise in any way.
Let's think. What's a life lesson that I recently was like, whoa.
Yeah.
You know, I think it was having to do with the relationship that I'm currently in. And one of those lessons was I have learned mostly from seeing my mom go through a lot of tough relationships. And then I've gone through a few, as we all have, and my sister as well. And like, I've learned that when something's not serving you, you just cut it off and move on. And I've been in that headspace for so long because like that's how I know to protect myself, and like that's the boundary that I've held. And so
to be very
be very like, if it's not serving you, cut it off and leave. You know? But I have a relationship with someone now that trumps that belief. And I don't like that term, trumps. Get out of here. Get out. Oh Lord, we ruined it. But I'm in a relationship now that my love for that person like is greater than the belief that if something's not serving me for a little bit, or something about that relationship isn't benefiting me for a little bit, that I just have to get up and go. Like that's not how I feel anymore. And I think that it is almost a life lesson, because I've done this with friends, I've done this with jobs, I've done this with things I do, activities, hobbies, people I'm going traveling. I've literally been in another state and been like, and then been like, I'm done being here, and I just leave the next day. Like I will change my mind on a dime, and I've never had an issue doing that, because I'm like, that's normal. That's my protection. If I want to do something different, I do it. But you know, going back to the life lesson aspect, being in a relationship where my love and my desire to be with this person and grow with this person is stronger than my personal need and boundary to just be like, close it off, I'm not dealing with this. Like that's a very surprising life lesson. And I keep checking in with myself of like, hold up, like we're actually willing to do this. Like this is awesome. And I love it. Like it's so cool it really reassures myself on the love that I have for this person.
And slowly changing that belief.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Now it's like, I can really relate to that though. I have also been someone who has cut it. Yeah. Cut the cord, cut on a job, on a friendship, on a relationship. If I'm like, this isn't serving me, this isn't for me, I've literally just had no problem with being like, Slurpee. I've had sorry, he was drinking water. I've had no problem with like saying goodbye. Yeah. And being like, nope, this isn't for me. But something that I realized, I guess for me, was that kind of like put an end to that, was the importance of communication. Yeah. And I think before I was like, no, this isn't for me, I don't need to explain myself, or I don't even know how to explain this to someone. Exactly. Like, also a fear of how they would react. Yep. Or, you know, so I think just realizing the importance of communication and how communication can take you through so many different avenues and bring greater understanding of yourself and another person, and can actually transform the entire relationship.
Yeah. Like,
but then if it doesn't, and we've had the conversations and we've tried, then I know truly it's not aligned with me, and it's okay to let it go.
Exactly.
Instead of just being like, nope.
Yeah, like still have boundaries. Still have boundaries and have expectations, and but you have to communicate those things.
Yeah. And
yeah, I was like that very much so in the past with all sorts of stuff. Like as soon as it wasn't serving me, I didn't need to explain that. I was like, all right, later. You know? Like I was like, okay, bye.
Yeah.
And so yeah, definitely just the urge to want to grow with that person is being stronger than like the urge to just be like, I'll find something else. you know,
because if you do that forever,
you're never going to grow with somebody. You're never going to grow yourself either. And like, yes, it's important to have boundaries and not let yourself get stuck in toxic cycles.
I think cutting people off, I think it's not necessarily boundaries though, because I feel like there's a difference between avoiding and just going, or like doing it before them or something, versus boundaries, because boundaries requires communication.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, so that's definitely one of the more surprising, like, I don't know if it's life lesson or just something I've learned. You just didn't expect. Yeah, I did not expect it. Change. Like, I didn't expect myself to be able to change that thing, because I've been very, very like hard boom. Like,
yeah. But there's an example of a inner belief change.
Yeah. No, 100%. Yeah. Also, I just want to say, I looked over at the time and I saw the clock go from 7:46 to 7:47. Boom, baby. Bingo. Which is my lucky angel number. I have it tattooed on my wrist right where a clock is, because I see it literally all the time, everywhere I go.
Do you want to share what that means for you, or not?
I mean, yeah, keep it? No, I can. I think a lot of people think it has like this crazy saga to it, and it really doesn't.
They're like, what's 747? They're like, back in 1747,
when I was a wee lad. No, 747. I've just always seen that number during times of my life that I'm looking inward or needing a little bit of guidance or looking for guidance. I'll see it on the time. I'll see it on license plates. I'll see it on, number patterns. And I just see it everywhere on like, codes or prices of things. And it's an interesting number because it's not like 222 or 111 where it's one number. It's 747, which is a little funny, a little weird.
Wait,
it's also...
Sorry, I just thought about in numerology, right? Yeah. 7 being the number of... This is also your life path number, which I feel like is so fitting. Yeah. Life path number 7 is like spirituality and science.
That's me.
The combination. Like a DNA. intertwined.
That is.
But 7 is like that spiritual number. And then 4 is about stability and foundation. So it's like sandwiched in between.
It totally is.
That like going inward and inner knowing. So that I just thought of that like right now.
No, and that's literally what it serves to me. Like, every time that I see it, that makes sense that that's what it, like, means. Because when I see it, it's, like, a sense of I need grounding, but I'm also, like, I'm always doing something new. Every time I see it, I'm always doing something a little different or doing something new, or looking to do something new. Like, when I first started seeing it, I was on a volunteer trip in Costa Rica. Right. And I was seeing that thing everywhere. And I was like, I came home from that trip and I was like, that's sophomore year of high school. And I was like, what is this? And I looked it up and it had that meaning. And I was like, that makes sense. And then since sophomore year of high school, I've seen it everywhere, like just everywhere. So that makes sense.
I had the same experience with the, I guess, angel numbers or numbers symbolism. Like, I kept seeing repeating numbers to the point of like, I mean, obviously, probably throughout life we've seen them, but it was kind of like in the face, almost of like, you can't ignore it.
I remember that. You would be sending me pictures of them.
But it was like, even the people around me were like, how do you see them constantly? And I'm like, it was kind of like, I had that open-mindedness and curiosity that I was like, I looked it up because I was like, this has never happened to me in my life and I can't escape it. Like, I'm seeing it constantly everywhere and I've never stopped ever since. But in periods, and I'll see certain ones for different reasons. It's so cool. It is. I think it's so fun, and it always like changes, but not really, but sort of. And resonates in the moment. I'm like,
No, it's such a cool thing to like have a little, even if it's not a number, but a sign.
One of like, I think my biggest signs that isn't a number are like feathers, but very specific, not just any feather, but it's just kind of like in the moment, you know.
Yeah.
And it's always like, for me, it's always like, okay, you're on the right path. Right. Like if there's a feather in my path in a certain position, I'm like,
you know, I saw a feather today.
Hey.
In my path. It was on my sidewalk. It was you coming in my life.
Hey. But yeah, it's really interesting. Like, I feel like it's kind of like your 747. When I see a feather, like in a certain way, I know I'm like, okay, I'm in, like, I'm doing the right thing. Like, this is like it's a go.
Reassurance.
It's a go.
Yeah, it's a go. It's good. Keep on keeping on.
Have you ever gotten like warning?
Oh, I'm sure of it.
Yeah.
I always get
I'm sure of it.
No, I have. And I think when it's that kind of symbol, it comes in really in a feeling for me.
Same.
Like I'm like, oh, and like I feel it in my stomach. I feel it in my throat. Like I feel it everywhere. It's almost like I got sick all of a sudden.
Yes.
And those, totally. And I think that's because you and I are so connected, I think, to our lives, that we can feel it as an actual feeling.
I don't even question it too.
Oh yeah, no. It's
like I don't even like, if it's like, don't go that way.
Yeah.
I don't even care. I'm not going that way.
No, totally.
I will literally go the whole other direction. Totally. Like,
yeah.
Erica.
Leah.
What does success mean to you right now?
Ooh, right now?
Yeah.
Honestly,
this moment.
You know, you sent me these questions a couple days ago, and I was rereading them just today earlier to reactivate my brain on some of these, and I saw that, and I was like, it's so interesting, because when I saw it a few days ago, it was something different than what came to me today. So success to me today looks very different.
The 25th?
Today, the 25th of September of 2025. To me, success looks like doing the things that I said I was going to do, aka doing this little recording with you, because earlier in the day I was like, I don't know if I can. I'm going through it emotionally. This week's been kind of an emotional roller coaster for me, so I think I tend, when I'm going through emotional times, to kind of like seclude myself off, and that's not success. And I think that it just goes to show, like, sometimes you might not want to do the thing that's good for you. Yeah. But it is. And like sitting here and doing it. Too. No, 100%. Yeah. And like sitting here and doing it, like this feels successful because I'm doing something. Like I love having integrity, and I love doing what I said I was going to do. And so doing this like is meaningful to me, and that feels successful. Aww. But even just going through a whole day without too much emotional turmoil internally feels successful. And I had a really good, productive work day, and that always makes me feel successful. And I was productive and took a shower and did my dishes and took my dog on double park walks today. And, just doing the little mundane tasks, taking a shower, like shaving, cleaning, like those things, that made me feel successful today.
So showing up for yourself.
Showing up for myself, and getting myself out of the little funk that I had been in the last couple of days. Yeah. That feels like a success. I think broader spectrum in life, what feeling successful is very similar. Like doing things that make me happy and show up for other people. Yeah. I love lending myself to other people. That is how I feel successful. And, to talk about this in a bodybuilding sense, I was showing up. I literally just visualized it. I knew it was coming.
I literally saw it.
So going into my last competition, or my first ever competition, should I say, I really... Hello. Hi, Vivi. My dog. I really wasn't feeling like, very confident. Mom. I know. What do you need, bro?
You're a big baby.
What do you need, bubbles? But talking about... bodybuilding and success. So going into my last or the first ever competition that I did, going into it, obviously success was going to mean placement, and success was going to mean doing the best. And my prep didn't go very well, to be honest. Right. I had a rough time with my coaches who I was working with. I had a rough time mentally through it. It didn't feel like a good thing for me to be doing. And so it was really hard for me to feel like I was going to be successful in that way. But a few days before the competition, like heading into it, I was like, how am I going to feel successful even without placing, or even without, the external success happening? And I realized it was going to have to be an internal success, not an external success. And so I changed my goals, really.
Yeah.
Like, week of my competition, I changed my goals. It wasn't based on my placement. My goals were no longer like, oh, I want to place, or, oh, I want to do well, or, oh, I want to get good feedback from the judges. My only goal, and the way that I was going to feel successful on show day, was to show up for people around me. And that was what made me feel successful, is because I lent myself to other people. I helped another girl with her tan. I helped a different girl get a ride to and from the venue. I kind of helped other girls who were really like anxiety, like super anxious about it. And I made them realize, like, you got this. You've been practicing. You know what to do. And just kind of giving like the little hype ups for people backstage. And like, that made me feel successful. And so regardless of how my placement went, which was also relatively great considering everything, with everything that happened that day, like, I walked away feeling just as good as I walked into the day feeling, because my success came from helping other people. So yeah, I think success for me looks a lot like doing things that make me happy and helping other people be happy, and then I feel successful.
I feel like having that flexibility. You have a goal, you're like, this is what success will feel like. And then having that flexibility when, life throws curveballs or things change, to change what that success is. Like like for me, maybe it was like, I want to achieve these things, and then it turned out just being showing up. And literally just showing up was that success for me, because of how things shifted.
And that also was, relative to the bodybuilding thing. Like 2 weeks before the show, I was really going through it, and I was like, this is not for me. I don't want to do this. Like, I'm not going to even go compete. Like, I registered, but I was like, I'll flush the money down. Like, I don't even care. And I was ready to just not even do it. So success felt like even just driving down there and getting on that stage. Like, that was a win, regardless of how the actual competition went. And so, I think being flexible with what success means to you, because at the end of the day, we all want to hold those high standards for ourselves. And I think it's important to. I think it's really important to have goals that push you. Like, if your goal isn't hard, make it harder. Like, I'm all for that. Like, if you're working, but you're thinking it's easy, make it harder. Like, I'm all for that growth and like pushing yourself and stuff. I think that's so valuable, but also equally as valuable is being okay with reframing like what the success looks like, or what the goal might be, or the outcome might be. Like, being flexible internally and externally with whatever needs to change. That
reminded me of something too, like, that I will do, like, if I have that like really like up there goal, and it's kind of like intimidating because it's like you got to work for that goal. Sometimes I'll make goals on the way to the goal.
Little micro goals.
Because I'm like, okay, let's go here first. We don't have to look at the very end of the road and be overwhelmed. Let's start here. Okay, we reached that goal. Now we go to the next part. And then sometimes that helps me like build up. Because I feel like when I have like a really high expectation or a goal that's really up there, which is reachable. But sometimes I can get overwhelmed of like, how am I going to get from here to there?
And I'm glad you brought that point up too, because this is something that in the bodybuilding community, especially, we all talk about a lot. And like we talk about with our coaches, and we talk about amongst other athletes, like all of us have goals of certain placement for certain shows. Like, that is the reality of it. Like, you have a goal to win.
It's a competition.
But you have to also have those day-to-day goals of, I want to get my steps in today. I want to drink this amount of water today. I want to hit these macros today. And those little goals compile up, and that's what makes that big goal possible.
That's
and
true.
So in the bodybuilding community, it's like, my friend, he posted on his story the other day, like he posted his workout and he's like, just another drop in the bucket, because it's true. It's like this little day sure, he could have skipped it, but that little effort that he put in today worked towards that big goal and that bucket, you know?
Yeah.
And so I think it's really cool. And then, you know, but just in the overall health and wellness place, like if you're trying to improve your health, or if you're trying to get better at something or improve your well-being with something, have a big goal. Have a big goal that's far and scary and like, ooh, am I ever going to get there? Like running a marathon. But start with those 1 mile a day. Start with half a mile a day. Start walking. Yeah. Just trying to get steps more. You know, like any big goal, you have to break down into smaller things.
Yeah.
And even with work, like especially with the line of work that I'm in, we have big events that we do. And some of these events, like it's so much pressure and so intimidating to think about. And, you know, we have one coming up next weekend, and it's a huge event that has so many different people and so much different effort that goes into it. And that's intimidating. It's an intimidating feeling to be like, we have so much work to do, but you break it down and you just execute the small things. And by getting that email sent and by putting that PDF on this file or emailing this person or getting that application in or getting that permit done, like those little things that compile up is what makes the big thing happen.
Exactly. And I feel like within that, like people will only see the big thing happening, but it's like all the little things that were built up, like people don't see all the time.
People don't see that.
Especially like social media, for example, like we'll like post our
the wins,
the success, the completion, or like whatever we're showing up as, and people will be like, wow, like
you did it.
But it's like they're without knowing those little things you did every day.
Yeah,
to
like
show up, to build up there.
Yeah.
So,
well, and I think that's also what's cool about having those big goals that are more external, because it's almost like it's a piece of humility and like being humble, because that's all they see.
Yeah.
But you know what it took to get there.
Yes.
And you'll take the praise. You deserve the praise. You
Amen.
deserve, you know, people being like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. Like, take that. Be grateful for that. But nobody knows. Maybe a few people actually really know what it took to get there. The highs and the lows and the daily work.
Yeah.
And so I think that it's kind of a cool feeling to get that praise over that big thing, whether it's a work-related thing or a bodybuilding thing or health or whatever, because they don't know how much actually work went into it.
And I feel like that just like, I just felt this, like getting that praise does feel really good for that big thing, because also there was nothing on that entire journey of the whole way there. When you're doing those little steps and you are going through, like maybe you have support from a few people, but not in the same way. And like when you're building and stuff, like you aren't getting that same praise. So like when you do like go through that whole journey where it's just you really being the one hype man, and you've been, only you know the highs and lows you've been through and everything you've worked through.
Totally.
I do feel like that reaching that, what is perceived to be the biggest success, does feel good when other people recognize it, because you're like, but at the same time, it kind of means nothing.
Exactly.
Because
it shouldn't mean, it's nice, but it shouldn't mean too much.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you should already have felt that way towards yourself.
Yeah.
I do want to talk about this in the regards of physical appearance, though, and like bodies, just being in the sense of getting praise for our physical appearance and how weird that is.
I hate it.
I hate it. And I'm in the fucking industry.
But you know it well, because you've had your own journey about it.
Yeah.
I mean, all of us have social media.
Yeah.
I think even if you're not like super in the wellness and fitness industry, we're all witnessing it.
Totally. You see it.
And it's such a weird thing.
It is. But it's weird.
I mean, the focus on
the physique.
Yes.
Yeah. No, and that's exactly what I want to talk about. So I was kind of more mindful going into my bodybuilding journey. Like the first step for me was actually going into prep. So I was cutting weight, I was losing weight, retaining muscle, but losing body fat. And like, so I was really leaning out, and, you know, I looked different than I've ever looked in my life, which was really cool. But I didn't post a single Instagram post until after the fact, because what I knew might happen is if I was posting in this very lean body that took me a lot of hard times and hard work to get.
A lot.
And I wasn't doing great mentally. And if I was posting that version of myself and getting that praise from people of, you look so good, or like, wow, you're doing amazing, then I would continue doing the things that didn't feel good for me. And I knew better. And so I'm really proud of myself for not doing that and staying out of that. But I think a lot of people slip up and post themselves only when they're cutting or only when they're losing weight, and then get that praise only during prep. And as a bodybuilder, that's not, I mean, it might be half a year, but normally it's like a quarter of the time that you're spending. So if you're able, you know, and then I posted my stage pictures. I posted some stuff from prep, but it was after the fact. It wasn't while I was doing it.
I feel like it kind of brought a level of detachment then to the thing, because you had already done it. So then it wasn't your whole existence or thing.
Yeah, and you're not right there living it. And I think that's the other thing, is because once I started building and putting some more body fat back on and going a little bit more into the strength world and less focused on just losing, but actually focused on gaining.
The stage, you know, to lean out.
Exactly. And changing from, you know, trying to get lean to trying to bulk up, flipping that. Then I started posting, but because I was happy with what was going on in my life. And that was the difference. Like, when I was getting praise during a time that I was already feeling good about what I was doing, it was like, sick, this is great.
Right.
But when you get praise during a time that you're not doing well, that's just, don't put yourself in that position.
Yeah.
You know, and like, that is user error, to be honest. Like, especially, and I'm talking specifically with social media. Like, you can't necessarily control the day-to-day stuff and what people say to you on a day-to-day basis, but if you're not doing well mentally, don't be flexing on social media, because if you get praise for that, your subconscious is going to keep you there, and that's not a good place to be.
And it's talking in the bodybuilding world, it's not sustainable either. No. But that's the whole, like, I mean, I don't really know because I'm not in bodybuilding, but from what I get, it's a journey between, you know, there's different phases.
Yes.
And something that I really admire and appreciate about you coming into this space and like how you've handled it, and, you know, your presentation online is you've been really not only, you know, careful with yourself and putting yourself first, like in your first prep.
Right.
You knew, you know, like as you just said, it wouldn't be good for you because you know yourself. You've been through certain phases in your journey, so you knew what you needed to do for you.
Yeah.
But once you had gone through that and gained more strength in your mind, really, the way you were very authentic and vulnerable about your journey.
Yeah.
And I remember you would make posts of like, yeah, I look great here, but how I was feeling inside, not so great.
Yeah.
And then your journey of like, okay, like now I'm bulking, my body's changing, you know, and just being really, what's the fucking word?
Authentic.
No.
Real.
No.
Vulnerable.
No. But yes, all those things. Not the word I'm thinking of. Like clear. Transparent.
Clear.
Yeah, I was like thinking like I could see through you. But yeah, like being really transparent about the reality of what's happening and the sport and the journey.
Oh, yeah.
Because I think it's really easy for us, like you said, to post like, all right, here I'm like on my cut, I'm lean, I'm about to do my show.
Yeah.
People are going to look at that and who knows?
Yeah.
And also like, yeah, I like how you talk about cutting out the noise too. I think it's really important. In certain things, it's like we don't have to share everything online.
No.
But back to the body thing.
Yeah.
I think it's ridiculous, and I will say we live in a very fat phobic culture.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting how you will be treated at different weights.
Oh, 1,000%.
And it's bullshit.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest, at least for me, piece of advice when it comes to that is cut the noise out. Cut the noise out.
Yeah.
Find your beauty in yourself. Yeah. Embrace and accept yourself for you.
Exactly.
And like that's your own unique beauty. If you're chasing, which brings back to the beliefs and dreams.
Yeah.
Other people's dreams or beliefs about how you should look, you're not going to be happy.
Exactly.
And it's going to be rough.
Yeah.
Trying to fulfill.
Totally. No, and that goes even with the opposite and getting super lean.
Yeah.
Like, doing that might feel good because you're getting praised for other
That's
people,
what I'm
but
saying.
It's not going to feel good inside.
I think there's preferences, really, but it's really interesting how we operate, and we're like praising people for the looks rather than who they are as a human being.
Yeah. Well, and that's what's interesting about this bodybuilding thing, is because you are getting judged on your looks, and
literally
you are putting your body on stage next to other bodies to get compared. Like, it is so absurd.
Yeah.
But it's also so cool.
Yeah.
Because if you are actually doing the sport in the sense that I'm doing this sport, like,
you're not competing
I'm
with
not
other
competing
people.
against them. I'm competing against myself.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I want to win, and yeah, I want to do better than them. But
which I love. I love the competition.
yeah, it's fun. But at the end of the day, you're
It's
just
so
trying to be better
individual.
than yourself
Yeah.
yesterday. But what that looks like should also be mental. Like, I want to do better. I want this next competition that I do to be way better mentally than this last one. And I know it will be. And, like, that's what matters. But
That's your goal right now.
exactly.
But it might change.
It might change. It might change.
Something I also love that you did recently, you did it randomly. You just were like, I'm going to do a competition right now.
Oh, yeah.
And you and your boyfriend signed up
Yeah.
and just did it. And I really love that, because I think that's also like a message to you, but other people, that to have fun.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be so serious. And also, like, you don't have to be quote unquote perfect.
Exactly.
To have fun, to do what you love.
Yeah.
And it's not just about placing. And I love how you've come with a fresh mindset.
Yeah.
Given your experience in life and your own journey. It's really beautiful to see you come online and like bring everyone a new perspective, a fresh experience.
Yeah.
And a lightheartedness almost.
Yeah.
Even though it hasn't been super lighthearted.
Right. Yeah, and I think it's so cool. And thanks for bringing that up too, because, like, yeah, hopping into a show randomly, like, in the middle of off season for both of us. I mean, we both kind of wavered of like, ooh, like, we don't look our best. Like, this is kind of weird. But at the end of the day, like, I was like, there's zero expectations because we didn't prep. There's zero expectations because we're not like, we didn't even know about the show until 4 days before. And so it was just like a total sporadic, super fun little activity. And, you know, we both placed great. Like, he placed
awesome.
first and second, I placed second and fourth.
Oh my
Like,
God.
we did great. And, like, you know, like I said before, I'm not saying, oh, you don't have to work hard and put the effort in. And if you want the goal of winning to be your reality, you gotta act like a winner, work like a winner, and then go win, you know. But if you're doing it for fun, like this competition was strictly for fun, I didn't care that I was coming in soft and not conditioned in mid-season. Like I didn't care, because that wasn't the goal of this show. And like, but you can do both. And I think that people forget, like, it's not black and white. You can have fun with it, but then also take it seriously. It's not one or the other. And I think it's just such a cool thing, because it's a high anxiety, high pressure, a very high intensity. It's just an extreme sport, really. You're
it
dieting.
honestly is.
You're dieting down. You're working out. You're pushing yourself in the gym. Your
like
cardio's
you're
up.
pushing.
What you're doing physically is pretty crazy, because you're trying to maintain as much muscle while getting as lean as possible.
In
And
certain
that's-
periods of time too.
It's
crazy.
seasonally,
Yeah.
you know? And so it's a hard sport. And I think that a lot of people, I would never say someone takes something too seriously, because for them, if that's what they want to do, that's good. Like, I'm never going to say someone is taking it too far if that's what they want to do. But I will say, I think that there always should be room for having fun within whatever hard industry you're in. Like, and I compared this actually to my coach, because when I told him I was going to do this little show for fun, at first he was like, well, why would you do that? Like, at first he didn't get it.
Yeah.
At first he was like, well, as
You're
your
not ready.
coach, you're not ready. Like, what? You don't look ready. And I'm like, I know, but I'm not doing this to place. I'm not doing this to win.
Honestly, you look great right now.
Thank you.
Like,
no, and I do.
From an outside perspective,
Thank you.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't be like, you're not ready, because
No,
obviously
totally.
I'm not in it. But I'm like,
But my
for
coach
me,
knows
I was
what
like,
we're cooking
I mean,
up.
you placed second.
Yeah.
So it's like, well,
Are we
but
ready? Yeah.
we have higher goals. Or
We have-
I say we, but
Yeah.
you have higher goals.
Totally. Well, and my coach especially, like, he knows, like I said, like, only my coach and I know what my goals are.
Exactly.
And he knows what those are, and those are his goals for me as well. And so like when he heard that I want to go step on stage in 4 days, he was like, well, you're not ready. And I'm like, yeah, I know, but it's not this goal. This isn't the goal of that. That's still for May.
Yeah.
Like that's
this one's
still
just
stands.
like practice.
This is for fun.
I mean, you got to do your pose on stage.
Exactly.
You got to be in the atmosphere.
Yeah.
And I feel like even bringing that funness and lightheartedness to it kind of can ease the anxiety for future events.
Oh, 100%.
Because you're like,
it's just more stage time.
Exactly.
And what's really cool is you get to meet other competitors, and that's my favorite part of it is like I get so inspired talking to other people backstage and meeting the moms. There's so many, everyone's a mom eventually. I mean, not everyone, but there are so many amazing moms in this sport. I am a dog mom. But there's just so many amazing people and so many characters and just true inspirations. And that's a huge reason of why I love it is the community of it and getting to meet people backstage and like learn people's journeys and learn their why and like what their goal is of that show. To someone else, that shows the show they're showing up in their best outfit and trying to win. Yeah. Whereas I'm just like, I'm here for fun.
They're probably like, damn.
you know, but it's like, it's so cool to share that journey and that experience with someone when you're not necessarily doing the same exact thing.
Yeah. Well, anyway, it's been really great having this conversation with you. I mean, we've talked about all sorts of things. And yeah, it was really great having you on here.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. I think it was a good conversation. Yeah. I think just like any good conversation, I learned a lot of just hearing myself talk. Yeah. Especially with where I'm at right now in life. So I appreciate it. It's all good stuff.
Yeah. Well, thanks for coming.
Yeah.
Well, having me actually.
Yeah.
Because I'm at your house.
True. Thanks for coming to my house.
Yeah. Until next time.